everybody. Two whole streams in a week. It's almost like we're back to normal. We're not. It's really hot up here. Yeah. It's not been quite as crazy as it was, obviously, the last couple of weeks, but it's still very warm up here. So I don't know how long we're going to go for today, but if like my head starts feeling hot, we're probably going to call it. And I didn't really know what to stream about today, other than I'm going to a grand tournament on Saturday, and I'm going to be playing Age of Sigmar, and I'm going to have a good time, I hope. I'm really excited for it. So today, I'm going to cover my rules, and I'm going to answer any questions you might have about Age of Sigmar, of course. Because there's been some changes, obviously, in the General's Handbook. So the way that you play these games has changed a little bit, which is really cool. I like it. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, hello everyone. Sorry for the late notice as well. I scheduled this stream really late because I wasn't even sure if I was going to have the courage to go live. And yet here we are. Normally I'd have scheduled it at 7:30 and I ended up doing it at 8:15. So a bunch of people won't have seen the notification just yet, so we won't get into it just yet. But I will say hello to Blethin Lawton. There are some who call me Tim, Mini Painting Dad, and JPO404. Hello. The only chatters in the chat. Hello. How's the cases? The cases are full of models. They are downstairs. Because I have to save room up here. Hello, Chris. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, Simon74. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, so one thing that I will do before we get started though is I was thinking about it last night and I was like, there's a lot to track, right? In Age of Sigmar, I think. And when I was at Spearhead, one of my opponents was doing something very similar to this, and this is what I thought, oh, do you know what? This would be a really good idea. This would be a really good idea to replicate. So one of these things is these are these little dry whiteboard magnetic strip things, right? They're pretty cool. And if you use a dry white marker on it, you can just go +1 to hit. Like that. And then if I've got, say, Logan Grimnar, there he is. He's got +1 to hit. I can just put that next to him and I can remember that it's there. And if needs be, I can just take my whiteboard marker and I can just... Wah! The buff is gone! So yeah. Oh, this is a cool thing. And then I thought, if I use a black pen for my stuff, and I use a red pen for my opponent, -1 to wound, I can have that when they're doing things to me, and I can have the black pen when I'm doing stuff to myself. That's just as a reminder, because if one of these is nearby, it'll be fine. And they come in packs of many. So I've got tons of these now. And they stick to like your fridges and stuff, so that's really cool. I thought that would be a good way of tracking things as things go. So that's what we're going to try. That's what we're going to try out this weekend at the Grand Tournament. Well, there's no need to sound so disappointed, Yamail Angmar. Oh, so there is a stream tonight. And he brought it right back with a hello, everyone. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm playing. Hello. How are you? Hello, Sly Guy 77. How are we doing? Just started Prince Imrahil, gonna use the contrast method. Love to hear it, Mr. Drafter Pants. Great name. Painting Free Guild Cavalry tonight. I like it, Chris. I like it. Hi, Josh. Yeah, YouTube just notified me. No warning. Good evening to you and all in chat. Good evening, Colonel. It's almost tomorrow there, isn't it, Josh? No, it's 10 to 9 here. Well, it's 8:52. 20:52 is where it is. Hello, chap. Finally good temperature to live. No. No, it's not nice up here today. So the outdoor world... The outdoor world, I think, reached like 25. Which means up here it reached about 30, 31. So it's been horrible up here this afternoon. So I've basically been like doing about 1 hour of painting and about half an hour of aircon. Or at least half an hour of aircon off so I can film. An hour of aircon on so I can paint, if you see what I mean. I put the first 2 steps on my Haleth. Need to do more. I'm excited to see it. Hello there, Mr. Toasted Hipster. I am a Mr. Toasted Hipster. I tell you what, guys. On Monday, I was wet. I was so sweaty. It was so uncomfortable. I just came downstairs and I was like, Al, I'm going in the shower. I feel disgusting. I then thought I did a really bad stream on Monday. I don't know. I was, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. So yeah, tonight we are going to, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we are going to, Warhammer World to play 5 games of Age of Sigmar in a grand tournament event. And I thought we'd run through it today, just to check that I'm up to date with what's going on. So I actually just need to pull up the event. So it'll be Warhammer Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament. And it is not the 22nd of March. It is this one. 19th of July. There are still a few tickets left if anybody wants to come this weekend. You can still buy tickets. And you get to meet me. Which might be a reason many of you stay away. So, I think we actually also got an email telling us what the battle packs were going to be. Quit policy. Don't do it. Okay, it's not in the battle pack. I think there was an email where they said, "Oh yeah, these are going to be the ones that we're playing." Chat, smash the like button. There's at least 31 people here who haven't, which means there's 31 people who don't like me. That's fair enough. It's 33.8 Celsius here right now. 93 Fahrenheit for us USA folks. Yeah, that's warm. That's warm. Is Warhammer World ticket only then this weekend? No, it's never ticket only when there's an event. Well, unless it's a ticket only event, like an open day. But no, it's not a ticket only. You can just rock up. You won't be able to play, but the shop will be open. They never shut it for an event, as far as I know. There might be like the occasional like corporate event they might shut it for, but no, for a grand tournament, just means all the tables will be full, theoretically, as long as it's a sold out tournament. And the bigger problem is only 400 points of my 2K cities are painted. 1,600 points in 24 hours would be quite the mammoth task. Yeah. No, more talk of Wet Josh. What can I say? There was 2 hours of it on Monday. You can watch Wet Josh if you like. Just, yeah, it was awful. Yeah, it's only like 24, 23 now. 22. It's 22 degrees now. So it's climbing down, but obviously it takes a while for the heat to evacuate the loft. Oh yeah, I need my emails. To my inbox. It is called Golden Ticket. Yep, there it is. Right, so there's 5 scenarios that we're going to be playing, and I just so happens that I have the General's Handbook right here. That's something that we're going to require. What are these cards? That's manifestations. Don't care about those. Not taking any. I think that's what I want. Yes. And we've got the objectives in here as well. Yeah, all good. Gravy. Yeah, that's General's Handbook. Sick. Alright. Right, hang on. Isn't there supposed to be some tactics? Oh, they're probably in there as well. Anyway. We will be playing Age of Sigmar fans. We are going to be playing Life Roots. We're going to be playing Roiling Roots. We're going to be playing Bountiful Equinox and the Noxious Nexus. Bountiful Equinox. We're not playing Creeping Corruption. So the other ones must be here somewhere. Grasp of Thorns? No. Linked Ley Lines? No. Pass of the Fae? No. So they must be on the back of these 2 cards here. So we're going to be playing the Life Roots. Yeah. So Life Roots, Noxious Nexus, Bountiful Equinox, Roiling Roots, and Passing Seasons. Oh, it's right there. Ugh, idiot. Idiot child. Okay, so yeah, Life Roots, Noxious Nexus, Passing Seasons, Bountiful Equinox, and Roiling Roots. Allegedly. Okay. So, Josh is going to be crushing people's dreams again. Yes. Yes. So, what is the XP thing on chat now? Well, the more you chat, and the more you gift, and the more you subscribe, as I understand it, you now get to be on the leaderboard, where you get a little thing next to you, and then I think you get a little, you get a special badge or something later on. I don't know. It's a YouTube thing, isn't it? Josh is going to be crushing people's dreams. Yes, we already talked about that. Okay, so I can tell you what my battle cards are, if I can just remember what they're called. So I am going to be doing that one, and where is it? There it is. That one. Okay. Are you ready for some overhead camera action? Because that's what's coming up your way. Starting now. Okay, so 2 battle tactics I have chosen for my army are Intercept and Recover. At the start of the battle, your opponent must pick 3 of their units on the battlefield to be carrying a Gyronite treasure. They cannot pick faction, terrain, features, or manifestations. The unit can only carry 1 Gyronite treasure. If your opponent has fewer than 3 units on the battlefield, you automatically complete a number of these battle tactics, starting with a Domination battle tactic, followed by the strike, and then the affray, until the number of remaining uncompleted battle tactics equals the number of enemy units on the battlefield. If you went second in the previous battle round and choose to go first in the current battle round, your opponent can remove one Gyronite treasure from one of their units at the start of the battle round. Okay, so the way this is scored: you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if at least one enemy unit carrying a Gyronite treasure has been destroyed this battle. 5 victory points. It's easy. Sort of. Your opponent picks where the treasures go, but it's reasonably simple, right? And then it's the same again. Bosh and Bosh. This one's the easiest one in the book because it's just a case of kill stuff and then you score the points. And it's not... It's the easiest one for me because it's just cumulative, right? So once you kill one unit, you score this. Once you kill a second unit, you score this, and once you kill a third unit, you score this. So that's 15 points. You just got to kill the 3 targets that they've put the Gyronite treasures into. This one is slightly difficult, right? But not really. It's reasonably simple. This is my other one, Scouting Force. At the start of the battle, every friendly non-hero infantry and non-hero cavalry unit wholly within friendly territory becomes a scout unit. You cannot complete these battle tactics with scout units that are in combat. Replacement units that replace scout units are also scout units. Now, in my army, I have 5 scout units. I have 2 big units of prosecutors, I have a unit of Stormstrike Paladors, and I have a unit of Reclusians, and, helpfully, Neve's Companions are also a scout unit, because they are not heroes. They're just unique. But it doesn't say you can't have unique here, it's just non-hero infantry and non-hero cavalry. So Neve's Companions do count as a scouting unit, which is very cool. So I've got 5 units to do this with. And Raiding Party is our first thing. Now, for those of you who don't know how these work in Age of Sigmar, you pick these 2 battle tactics on your list before you've done anything. You do this at the army building level, which is cool. And you can score both of them at the same time. But what you can't do is score everything at the same time, and you have to score them in order. So Scouting Force is interesting, right? Because you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if there are 3 or more friendly scout units wholly outside friendly territory. That's easy for me. I've got 2 units of prosecutors and some Stormstrike Paladors. They go fast. You then have Bold Explorers. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if 3 or more objectives or terrain features that you control in any combination are being contested by any friendly scout units. Those objectives and terrain features must be within enemy territory. Okay? So, you can't score this until you've scored that. Okay? This is locked until you've done that. Courageous Adventurers is the final one. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if a friendly scout unit that was not set up this turn is contesting a terrain feature that you control that is wholly within enemy territory that is more than 6 inches from friendly territory. Make sense? So technically contesting doesn't mean you control it. That is correct. However, it does then say that you control in any combination are being contested by any friendly scout units. So contesting is when you are on and contesting the thing, right? So you, because all objectives are sticky in Age of Sigmar, you can have possession of an objective and not be contesting it. So at the end of your turn is when you figure out if you're contesting it, I believe, or it's at the beginning of the battle round. Either way, whoever has the most objective score or whatever on something, that is when you possess the objective. If you are contesting the objective, it means you're standing on it. You don't have to stand on objectives to score them. So this one is very clear that you can't just go and take something and walk off it in this one and then following turns score this, because you're not contesting it if you've walked off it. So you have to contest and control in this. So you complete this battle tactic at the end of it. Setup is contesting a terrain feature that you control that is wholly within enemy territory and that is more than 6 inches from friendly territory. Does that make sense? So this is the 2 things that my army is going to be doing, right? At all times. And you can score them both at the same time. So I can, for example, move my prosecutors and my Stormstrike Paladors into outside of a friendly territory, and my Stardrake can kill one of these, and I will score 10 points in my turn. If you see what I mean. Now, in one turn, I don't think this is the case, but I think in one turn, if I killed all 3 of these, I don't think I score all at the same time, but they are all correct. So once you've fulfilled the victory conditions of them, you then score them, basically. Yeah, no, so that's the thing, Sly guys. I don't think it does matter. But let's have a look, shall we? Battle tactics. Should be in here. $12. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, so the way it works... Yeah, so the way it works is that you can do one at a time per turn, I think. But in turn 2, if this is true, you still score this. So technically in turn 1, you can do all 3 of these. Right? If you killed all 3 of your Gyronite treasures, but you won't score 15 points, you'll score 5. Then in your next turn you'll score 5, and then in your next turn you'll score 5. Because it states it here, has been destroyed this battle. This one's one of those ones where you won't be able to do all of this, basically. Because you haven't scored that, then that, then that, as it were. You have to score that before you can do that. You have to score that before you can do that. This one's always going to be in order. You can't kill 3 units simultaneously. You'll kill them 1, 2, and then 3, as it makes sense. That is my understanding of it. So the battle plans we're going to be playing. You'll see why I've picked them. And also, for those of you who don't know what my army list is, I can run you through that. Where is it? Boop doo 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 doo. So here is my list. So my list is Lowrye, Child of the Abyss, Lord Celestin on Stardrake, Lord Veritan, Neve Black Talon, Neve's Companions, Prosecutors, Reclusians, Stormstrike Paladors, and Taunus the Redeemed. So it's laid out like this: Taunus the Redeemed, Prosecutors, Lord Celestin on Stardrake, Stormstrike Paladors. The Black Talons are there by themselves. And then the Lord Veritan and the Reclusians are there in their own regiment. Now, just because I've picked my secondaries, my opponents are going to be also picking secondaries, and Gyronite Treasures is a very popular one. So I have to think, where am I going to put my Gyronite Treasures in order to stop my opponent from scoring? Well, the easiest answer there is one here on the Prosecutors, one there on the other Prosecutors, and the other one right there on the Lord Celestin on Stardrake. Because they're either fast enough to stay away, or numerous enough to survive at least one hit and bug out, as it were. And just, he's an absolute beefcake. Now, the Lord Celestin on Stardrake has been given both the artifacts of power and the what's it called? It's literally right there, heroic trait. So my passive, I've gone for Mirror Shield. I just think it's very, very good. This unit cannot be targeted by shooting unless the attacking model is within 9 inches of it. I just think that's strong. I think that's very good. Especially if it's going to be a target for Gyronite treasures. Because it means it can't just be nuked off the board in turn 1, so somebody easy scores Gyronite treasures. I think that's strong. I think that's good. The reason why it makes it even tougher for the Lord Celestant on Stardrake is because of the heroic trait that I've selected. So I have selected, funnily enough, not Envoy of the Heavens because it's 20-point cost, but I've selected Hour of Glory. This unit can be picked to use their finest hour ability even if it has already used it this battle. In addition, when this unit is picked to use their finest hour ability, add 5 to its control score for the rest of the turn. Which I think is just crazy good. I think it's just insanely strong as a relic trait for Stormcast Eternals, especially on something like a Lord Celestant on Stardrake. Now, their finest hour, for those of you who don't know, their finest hour is their finest hour. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals unit has not used this ability this battle to use this ability. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to wound rolls for that unit's combat attacks and add 1 to save rolls for that unit. So there you go. So, in order to... It basically means that the Lord Celestant on Stardrake can spend the entire game at +1 to wound and +1 save, giving him an effective 2+. He can't be shot within outside of 9 inches. And he has that as wound profile. So 2+ save, 18 health, control 5. Now obviously he can be mortally wounded to death. Naturally, of course he can. The trick is going to be to stay away from that and try and kind of manage that a little bit. But I mean, the combat profile on it is crazy good. One of the things I love so much is this rampage. I'll give you a second to read that one. Roll 3 dice for each roll that equals or exceeds the target's health characteristic. One model in the target unit is slain. Which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now, Stardrakes have had that for a very, very long time. It's just so good. Having used it at the 1,000-point event a couple of months ago now, this guy ate 2 Putrid Blight Kings in 1 round of combat doing that. I rolled 2 5s on it. That's how good it can be. But, for example, if you roll a 6 against a 5-wound hero, a 5-wound hero with a 5 or 6, you just eat it. It's gone. It's done. It's over. It's so strong. Because it doesn't say just pick an enemy unit in combat with it. 5-wound cavalry, again, if you roll 5s or 6s, you just eat the cavalry and it's gone. It's very, very strong. We also have this. Each time you make an unmodified save roll of 6 for a combat roll attack that targets this unit, inflict 1 mortal damage on the attacking unit after the fight ability has been resolved. So that's just nice. Because it's a mild bit of vengeance in case your opponent decides to tar pit with like a pile of clan rats, for example. There is this as well, but it's not going to be useful. Because add 1 to the attack's characteristic of other friendly extremist chamber units wholly within 12 inches of this unit for the rest of the turn. And I don't have any other extremist chamber units in my army. I was going to try and fit some Stormdrake Guard in, but I just couldn't get them in. So we don't have to worry about that one. But there's its stat profile as well for fighting. 4 attacks, 3s, 2s, 2, 2, 4s, 2, 2, 3. 3s, 3s, 1, 2. It's good. It's a good beat stick, and of course will be +1 to wound the entire time with their finest hour. So it's actually wounding on 2s, and it doesn't matter if you use all-out defense because I'll still be wounding on 2s with the Cavernous Jaws, 2s with the Weapon of Legend, which I just think is very strong. personally. I personally feel like this relic, this heroic trait, needs 20 points. It needs to have some cost, because it just turns him into an absolute weapon. I think it's crazy strong. So yeah, there we go. So that's the army list. So this is going to be the case of scouting unit, scouting unit, scouting unit, scouting unit, scouting unit. So that's how we're going to do it. So the battle plans. This is where we get into it now. This is the stuff. So we'll be playing the life routes. Here it is. This is battle plan number 1. If you are the underdog, you can use the life begets life ability, which is this one here. Pick a friendly unit that has all of its models within 1 inch of a terrain feature to be the target. Return 1 slain model to the target unit. If you are losing, you are the underdog, and that is what you get. That's very good. So, the way this is scored, each player scores 1 life root point at the end of each of their turns for each terrain feature they control. Each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns as follows. Score 5 victory points if you control at least 1 objective. Score 3 victory points if you control both objectives. And score 2 victory points if you have more life root points than your opponent. So this is the battle plan. We have obscuring terrain, place of power, area of terrain of obstacle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of terrain on the table and 2 objectives there and there. And you've got obviously territory over here and territory over here. So for scouting units, what we need to do is deploy within here and just go, wah! I'll have my 5 points. Possibly along this edge as well, but we just need to kind of move in here, take this, have this, and hold this, and that's our life root points right there. And the opponent will do the same thing. If the opponent doesn't come straight for you, they're just giving you 2 victory points, right? If your opponent comes straight for you, they're giving you 2 victory points because you'll just hold this area, right? So I think what the plan with my army is to deploy it, is to basically, for example, on here, is to just back deploy it like that. I'm not going to play aggressively. I'm not going to be up close and personal. I'm pretty certain, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to check the objectives. When you deploy, you have to be more than 9 inches away from your opponent. $16. Is that how it works, chat? You deploy 9 inches from your opponent's territory. Yeah. Corals, 10. It's not exactly clear, actually. I mean, you don't. You've never. It's never been a case that you can deploy here. Do you know what I mean? It's in your territory, but you've never been able to deploy there. I believe it's 9 inches back. Yeah. Set up the target unit wholly within friendly territory and more than 9 inches from enemy territory. After you've done so, it has been deployed. There you go. So yeah, you can't just redline it, as it were. Ishmael has been a member for 13 months. I've played 2 tournaments with Stormcast Eternals. Went real bad. I mean, it might go real bad for me this weekend. We shall see. I don't know. So there you go. That's number 1. You want to try and control terrain, and you want to try and control both these objectives here. Now, obviously, 9 inches back on this. What is it? It's 60 by 44. So that's 60 inches. That's 44. So you've got 30. That's 30. And then what's 44 divided by 4? That would be 11. So you've got 30 by 33 inches to box to deploy in. You're basically going to be deployed around here. The place to be is to be either just there or in that corner like this, 9 inches back from your opponent's territory. You want to be able to capture this terrain piece really in order to secure life routes. This one you'll probably have always safe because it's right there deep in back, so you'll always be able to deploy on there. Probably be able to deploy on there as well, have the objective, but you generally can't score at the... No, you can here. At the end of your turn you score if you hold at least one objective. Now, if I was to go first, which is unlikely because I have 4 drops, if I was to go first and I frontline my Star Drake, I might be able to get on here, or with my prosecutors because they have a 3d6-inch charge. But that's why I'm not concerned about deploying aggressively and moving aggressively. I'm more interested in deploying quite conservatively further back, because if I want to get places fast, I've got the prosecutors and I've got the cavalry. It's very easy for me with a scouting force to just move 12 prosecutors and 3 Stormstrike Paladors straight out here into non-contested territory. So that's battle plan number 1. The next one is this one, Noxious Nexus. So now you've got even less space to deploy. So you've just got this corner of the battlefield, you see? Just in there. So basically you're back here and your opponent will be back here, or vice versa. But the way this one works is if you are the underdog, you can use the Caustic Sap ability, roll d3 for each target. On a 2+, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. If you pick the Heartwood objective, roll a d6 for each target instead. Okay? Objectives cannot be controlled in the first battle round. Actively states that. It does not state that here. So you can score from the first one. From this one, you cannot. Each player scores victory points at the end of their turn as follows. Score 5 victory points if you control the Oakenbrow objective, which is that one. Score 3 victory points if you control the Gnarl Root objective, which is that one. And score 2 victory points if you control the Heartwood objective, which is that one. In addition, at the end of the battle, a player scores 10 victory points if they control the Heartwood objective. That one there. So I think for me, the trick here is to just move out this way. Cede this ground and take these 2. If you see what I mean. I think that might be my plan. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, that's Noxious Nexus. That's game 2. Yeah, that's game 2. 9 inches away, says ACGJD. Years. You mean to tell me this is a game that can be played? It is indeed. There are those who call me... There are some who call me Tim. I don't call you Tim. I call you friend. It's so hot up here. Hello, tattoo zoologist. I think those are the weirdest of the 2 deployments. Well, the 5 deployments. We're not doing Paths of the Fae, Life Cycle, or Cyclic Shifts, I don't think. No, we're doing Passing Seasons, Bountiful Equinox, and Roiling Roots. Because you want to see a wacky deployment. There you go. That's a wacky one. This one's fun as well. I like that one. I think these are too cool. But we're not playing those. The rest of it's basically Dawn of War or fairly standard. We're not playing Cyclic Shifts. We're playing Roiling Roots. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. That's Noxious Nexus. Next game is going to be Passing Seasons, which is this one. Again, ward save if you're on the null route objectives, which is these two. And you're the underdog. And you get a heal D3 to every friendly unit contesting either of the Oakenbrow ones. These ones are actually the better ones. If anything, it's actually best to go second in this one. Because your opponent can score points, and then you just move on here, and you do not leave, and you'll have a 6-up ward the entire game. Well, until you surge past them in points. But in this one, it's best to go second, I think, so you don't score points. Because in battle rounds 1, 3, and 5, score 5 victory points for each null route objective that you control. So, theoretically, if you go second, your opponent will just move straight out onto both the null routes. And in 2, 4, and 5, these are the ones that are being scored. But if you move out like this, if you can then take them and over-contest them, your opponent won't have the ward save because they've already scored. You will have the ward save once you contest, basically. I think it's pretty strong tactic in that one. You do want to go second there. We have Roiling Roots. This one. This is a fairly standard Dawn of War deployment. Bosh bosh. Lots of objectives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objectives. All of them are present. Score 5 victory points if you control at least one. Score 3 victory points if you control any pairs of objectives. Score 2 victory points if you control more objectives than your opponent. So it's hold 1, hold more, hold pairs. But you can score 10 points a turn on this one if you're able to secure, for example, here and here, here and here, here and here, I guess. I guess those two are the same. No, they're not. They're different. So here and here or here and here. So you really want to either move for the flanks or go for and claim the center. And then we have Bountiful Equinox as well. There you go. 5. Well, same thing again. Each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns as follows. Score 5 victory points if you control at least one objective. Score 3 victory points if you control 2 or more objectives. Score 2 victory points if you control at least one Oakenbrow, 1 Null Route, and 1 Heartwood objective. So you want to be like this. Just kind of bosh, bosh, and bosh. This one's probably the easiest one to do. It's the most 40k one. But there you go. Those are basically the cards that we're going to need from the General's Handbook, which is going to be that little group of cards just there. I think I got a decent hand on it. I won on this map with Stormcast Eternals by about 50 points by sticking a Brick of Reclusians on the 5-point objective and just skirmished the other 2. Got a consistent 7 points a turn from objectives. So I think with the army that I've created, I don't think it's particularly innovative at all, but I think with the army that I've created, my idea is to stay away, is to let my opponents move first. Let my opponents take ground, and then I react, because I've got the speed to do it. And what's interesting is, like, obviously you don't hit like an absolute brick. They're prosecutors, right? But it's enough to do serious chip damage. You know, there's a shooting phase with the prosecutors. And my Reclusians will just hold the fort somewhere. Now, I'm taking Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels for the 5-up ward on one of them. Which, actually, thinking about it, that means that I'm giving a 5-up ward to some prosecutors. Where was that one where you add one to the ward? Ugh. If it has a ward save, add 1 to ward rolls for that unit. Well. Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels, as I understand it, you could put a 4-up ward on them. If they're just holding an objective, then you're the underdog. That's a bit mad. What is your thinking as to not taking manifestations? Well, I'll tell you why. I have one wizard in my army list, and that wizard is Lowride, Child of the Abyss. And I don't want to take manifestations because I'm not going to cast them, because the thing I'm going to cast with Lowride, Child of the Abyss is Nebulous Sea Fog. And Nebulous Sea Fog, until the start of your next turn, while a friendly the Black Talons unit is wholly within 6 inches of this unit, if the unmodified hit roll for a shooting attack that targets that unit is 1 to 5, the attack fails and the attack sequence ends. So it's Snapfire on the Black Talons, so Neve and her and the unit. It's tough, it's annoying, and it stops them from being shot. So, with my one spell, I'd rather cast my one spell to make the unit tougher than to maybe pull in something that, honestly, I don't have the space to transport and don't really want to take. And I'm not taking the Portaloo either, because I don't really need the teleports. Not really. I don't want to be teleporting. I want to just be moving. Because I've got the speed to do it. Now, I do have the Lord Veritant, who can use the prayers to teleport. So there is a prayer for translocation. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals priest to chart this prayer. Pick a friendly visible Stormcast Eternals unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target. Then make a chanting roll of d6. Remove the target from the battlefield and set up again on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units. In addition, if the charting roll was 8+, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target that unit for the rest of the battle round, which is very good. It's very, very good. But I'm more inclined to use blessed weapons to just improve, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of all my prosecutors. Which would be nice if the charting roll was 12+. It goes off on all of them. Hello, Swennels. How you doing? So yeah. I think it's pretty strong. Greetings from Spain. It's indescribably hot here. It's very hot here as well. Well, it's very hot in my loft. Are you excited about Khorne AOS and Caradron AOS coming up? Yeah, why not? I like them both. I'll be interested to see what their battle tomes do. I've no idea. I've been sort of... Well, I haven't really had time to read Warhammer Community about what's going on with them. So I'm excited to see what they do. I'd like to at some point expand my Caradron in some way, shape, or form. That would be good. Blades of Khorne, I'm well off what I want to do with it. I've got a Blades of Khorne army, but it's all demons. Because I've got Scarbrand, 30 Bloodletters, Skulltaker, a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, which is pretty much 2,000 points anyway. Oh, and some Fleshhounds as well, and Karanak. And often the thing with those, with the God Legions in AOS is they don't really cross over, not really. So like, Skulltaker might be really good for Bloodletters. Again, don't know. But like Korgus Call doesn't do anything for them. So taking a mix of mortals and mortals and demons is generally not great unless you're gonna go hard into like 1,000 and 1,000. But then usually your regiment choice, well, your battle trait is going to be the deciding factor there. In which case you might as well just go full demon if the demon one's the best one, because why include the mortals? So it's always the way with the Chaos God Legions. It was always a bit of a shame. I thought with this edition, what you might see is a bit more of, hey, here's the mortals one, here's the demons one, here's a blended one, and then here's an insane one. You're getting your rules ready for this weekend. I am Jaffe Barra. You're coming to this, aren't you? You're coming to this this delightful grand tournament, aren't you? Or are you going to Tacoma? JPO 404, number 1 on the leaderboard. Would love to have a Khorne army, but I'm already in hobby debt, as is. Well, yeah. Got my Great Hall jersey a couple of weeks ago. Nice. Nice. Super excited for it. Me too. Me too. I'm excited. I thank the Lords that this will be the second week where I have zero interest in the GW pre-orders. Zero interest. I think you have at least 5% interest, because if you had zero interest, you wouldn't have looked up what's coming out in pre-order next week. Though please note, Josh, I will be watching the content because I learn even when I don't have interest in the model. Well, you might be interested in the model that's coming. You don't know. I don't know what's coming on Saturday. I haven't figured that out yet. I'll be those trees, yeah. I'll be pre-ordering some made-to-order terrain. If it's not ruinously expensive, I have a sinking feeling it is going to be ruinously expensive. And I'm going to have to begrudgingly order it, you know. You know. Because, like, there's the, what was it? I'm going to go pull the, as this one, yeah. Yeah, so all of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar terrain, the Storm Vault, the Hallowed Storm Throne, Sigmarite Dais, Enduring Storm Vault, Shattered Temple, Penumbral Engine. I want to get one. I kind of want to get one of all of them, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of them. $500 for each piece of terrain. Sigh. Yeah. That's what I worry about. I fear your terrain backlog. I do have a terrain backlog. It's not actually that big. My terrain backlog is much bigger for 40k, I've got things like the Munitorium, what are they called? Munitorium containers, and a couple of bits of AdMech terrain. I do have the that thing. The some of the Seraphon terrain as well. I don't have a massive monstrous amount of it. I may be projecting. I'm currently dry brushing Volcus and it never ends. Well, no, I do feel you. That's how I feel whenever I do terrain. There is a chunk of terrain for me to do. Like I know for a fact with Lord of the Rings, I've got at least one Rohan house. I want to get a set of Rohan palisades and another 2 houses to build one big house, so that I'll have one big house, 2 small houses, and a palisade. And a watchtower is what the other thing I want to get. So I want to get all of that to have a decent Rohan table. For Osgiliath, I'm pretty settled. I've got a manor house. I've got 5 ruins. And I've got one of the towers. So we're pretty good on that front. So that's 2 biomes that I could do. If I buy a set of hills, I'll have 2 sets of hills. In order to do just like an open plain. I need to get some trees and stuff. Because the Sylvaneth trees aren't great for all of it. But the Citadel Woods, that old stuff, I tried to paint some of it a long time ago and I didn't enjoy it, so I won't be ordering any of that. But like the Stormvault stuff is stuff that I've wanted for ages. Some of you may remember me banging on about it, how I really want it to match up with the Stormreach portal, the new Portaloo. And then yeah, in terms of 40k terrain though, I've done quite a lot of it. I do actually have 40k terrain wise. I do also have the Volcus upgrade set to do as well. You know, the palisade thing that came out with the bunkers. That came in the one with Ratlings. No? Yes. The stuff that came in the Ratlings and Wrecker Crew. Good luck this weekend, Josh. I'm guessing you won't have time to stream Friday's reveal. No, I will be. What time is it on? It is at 7 PM BST. I will be in a small little room in Nottingham on my Todd, waiting to go to sleep. Or maybe I'll be at dinner. One of the two. I am tempted to get one of the Stormvault terrain, maybe 2, depending on price. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to see. Because like I said this before, but the future of this channel is that we will have more. We'll have some gameplay content eventually, with all of the beautiful miniatures that we've painted over the last 6 years. Can you believe it? 6 years of Warhipster. Over the last 6 years, want to get those models on the tabletop and consistently get some, you know, tactical content for all of my favorite game systems: 40k, Age of Sigmar, Middle Earth. Want to start getting that stuff off of the ground. The problem is you don't have the space and don't have the time at the moment to do it. Space is the big one, because whilst I could film a battle report, and I have done on the channel, they look bad because they're out in the shed, and the shed on the inside is painted a delightful shade of urine, so it looks horrible in there, and you can't. It's so hot out there. It's a little summer house, so you can't be out there at all during the summer, and it's not heated, so you can't be out there during the winters. There's a very fine amount of time. It's just not a very good space for it. So, but the future of the channel is that we will eventually get some of that stuff going on the channel. So in order to do that, I do need to have the terrain. And so getting hold of the Stormvault stuff is important to me because I want to be able to do that. But it will depend on the price, like you said. If I open up if I open up Games Workshop on Saturday morning and it's £75 for a box of terrain, I'll be like, no! That's a no from Josh. Sad. Sad times. But of course, if you would like to contribute to Josh buying terrain for a future, you can do so by either considering becoming a member, gifting some memberships, or sending a super chat right now. It's up to you. I think that Stormvault stuff, or at least bits of it, often pop up on eBay, where they may be out as part of Stormbringer magazine. Oh, maybe, I don't know. It's just always really ruinously expensive on eBay. I own Amon Hen Fallen Head, Gondor Mansion, 4 Gondor Ruins, 2 Gondor Towers, 1 Mines of Moria, 6 Rohan Houses, 4 Rohan Watchtower and Palisades, 2 Ruins of Dol Guldur, 2 Ruins of Middle Earth, and Weathertop, plus 3D printed boxes of MESBG terrain. So you 3D printed some boxes to put your MESBG terrain in. That's cool. I never thought that I would hear those words in a sentence. Delightful shade of urine. Yeah, no, it's a horrible yellow. It's just a very weak yellow out there. It'd be interesting to see if there's a way to, yeah, like I said, you know, there's a lot of content that we want to make, but we don't have space for. We need to move house in order to do that, but we haven't done that, but we're in the process of doing that, and hopefully that will happen at some point soon. Welcome to the life. Where is the little bit of paper that held these together? I had it. It is no longer visible to me. Interesting. Very interesting. Ah, got it. Are you guys actively hunting for a place? We will be very, very soon once we've got our mortgage in principle. I became a Warhipster the Conqueror this month. Hopefully that helps a bit. It certainly does. It certainly does. Of course it does. Absolutely it does. It all helps. It all helps. I had to do my no, I'm not getting into the finances now. Let's not do that. That's a conversation that doesn't need to happen during a live stream. There we go. It's going to be good times. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited for the move whenever it happens, wherever we go. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the future that we'll be able to have, and the content that we'll be able to make, and the journey that we'll be going on together. Because trust me, you guys will be along for the journey. Even if you don't want to be. Because that is how I roll. This really confuses me. Do you go in like that? No, you don't. You go in this way. That was really strange. Right, managed to pack this away. We need to take that with us on Friday. What is up with the little crown of numbers? It means you're number 2 chatter. You're number 2 top fan at the moment. Is what that means. But there we go. There we go. Yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about, really. We've been going for about an hour. It's already getting really hot. I don't know if you can tell. I'm starting to glisten. So yeah, I think, like I said, it was going to be a short one today. Gamification of chatting, it seems. I mean, God forbid you guys go on top of the leaderboard. Yeah, I'll just yeah, everyone just stop talking. I'll just chat and won't respond to any questions. We won't have a conversation. I'll just say words for 2 hours. You can opt out if you don't want to. You can opt out. There is a button. I don't know where it is. It's in your settings. Go to live chat and you can say I don't want to be part of leaderboards. If we're talking AOS rules, I was wondering lately if an Orc War Clans list of only big pigs is legal. Yeah, it is. Absolutely it is. I'll do it for you now. Big Wah. Well, you can go to Krazog's Grunter Stampede. No. Wow. Krazog's Grunter Stampede 2025. 2,000 point army. Pigs. Great army. Add hero. Toss boss on more Grunter. Yes, more Grunter hacking crew. More Grunter gougers. More Grunter with hacking crew. And then it will be another Tusk boss on more Grunter. More Grunter gougers. More Grunter with hacking crew. I think you can reinforce them, can't you? No, you cannot. So you can do... There you go. Toss boss and more Grunter gouger, more Grunter with hacking crew, more Grunter with hacking crew. Toss boss and more Grunter gougers, more Grunter with hacking crew. There you go, 1,990 points. And that's in a that is in Krazog's. It's hang on. It's a Krazog's Grunter Stampede. So that's an actual army of renown. With its own rules for running exactly that. So there you go. That's something that you can do. Yeah. Anyway, guys, like I said, it was only going to be a short one tonight because it's now getting punishingly hot and I'm getting uncomfortable. So we're actually just going to bounce. We're gonna conclude things there. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I know it was a short one, but I'm getting hot, and I need to switch the aircon on. And once the aircon is on, you won't be able to hear a single word that I said. So yeah, I will speak to you all next week on Monday, I'm sure. So yeah, bye for now. See ya. Ta-da! TTFN.